What's up, guys? So, Emmerdale's beloved character Viv Hope's iconic post office in the village of Esholt, England was looking for a new owner, and guess what? It's sold, baby. Just went off the market in November 2025. Now, this isn't just some random building, okay? This is the post office where literally decades of drama, romance, and unforgettable TV moments went down. So buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into this nostalgic piece of British television history. Let's get into it. All right, so we got to talk about Viv Hope because you cannot discuss this post office without mentioning her. She joined the show back in 1993, and I don't think anybody expected this character to become that iconic. Played by Dina Payne, Viv wasn't your typical small town post office worker. She was the person who knew everything about everyone. Like, she had all the tea, you know what I'm saying? The post office was basically her kingdom. From behind that counter, she witnessed all of Emmerdale's secrets. Gossip spread from there, fights broke out there, people made up there. Viv's sharp tongue and genuine heart turned what could have been just a regular mail and newspaper spot into like the social hub of the entire village. One of the most dramatic moments? Her exit in 2011. Tragic death following a fire. Dude, it hit fans hard. But here's the thing, Viv Hope's legacy lives on as long as that post office is still standing. Even today, when you're binge watching old Emmerdale episodes and that post office scene comes up, you immediately think of Viv. That's how powerful a character can be, man. She literally became synonymous with that building. Okay, now let's get into the actual location. Esholt is this tiny village in West Yorkshire, just north of Leeds. From 1976 to 1998, that's 22 years, people, all of Emmerdale's outdoor scenes were filmed right here. So basically, this village was Emmerdale. Just imagine living in a normal Yorkshire village, right? And every single day, cameras, actors, crew members are rolling past your house. The local pub becomes the Woolpack on TV. The post office becomes this legendary location. The locals literally became part of the show's fabric. In 1998, the production team made this huge decision and started building a completely controlled set at Harewood Estate. Why? Because the show had grown so massive that filming in an actual village was getting logistically insane. Weather control, sound isolation, scheduling, everything's just easier on a purpose-built set. But here's the cool part. Esholt didn't fade away after the show left. Actually, quite the opposite. It became like one of the pioneers of TV tourism. While the Harewood set is closed to the public, Esholt was the only place where you could actually experience real-life Emmerdale. The post office kept functioning for years. Tourists would come take photos, locals would still get their daily essentials there. It was this perfect blend of nostalgia and everyday life coexisting. So, November 2025 drops this bombshell news. The iconic post office is up for sale. The price tag? Just £30,000. That's roughly 37,000 American dollars. Let me put this in perspective for you guys. The average house price in London is like 500 to 700,000 pounds. That's 620 to 870,000 US dollars. Even in cities like Manchester, you're looking at 200 to 300,000 pounds. 250 to 370,000 dollars. So this historic building costs less than a down payment on a big city apartment. Let that sink in. This shows you how different the rural real estate market works in England. Yeah, major cities have limited opportunities and astronomical prices, but in rural areas, especially for small commercial buildings, you can still find legit investments that make sense. Now, obviously, just buying the building isn't enough. You got to set up a business, get licenses, maybe do some renovations. But still, that entry cost is incredibly reasonable, and this is where Helen Myers enters the picture. She's a huge Emmerdale fan and a local who lives in the Esholt area, lost her job during the pandemic and started looking for a new path. When she saw the post office for sale listing, it felt like destiny calling. Helen's vision is super smart, an Emmerdale souvenir shop for tourists, but also basic groceries and essentials for locals. It's a hybrid model, right? This model is actually crushing it in many rural parts of England. Film and TV tourism is serious money. Harry Potter filming locations, Outlander spots in Scotland, Game of Thrones sites in Northern Ireland, they're pumping millions of pounds into regional economies. Helen's also planning a cafe section. People can come in, grab tea or coffee, chat about Emmerdale memories, take pictures. And at the same time, locals can still pick up their morning bread and milk. That's the community hub concept right there. Esholt isn't just about the post office, though. The village itself has this incredible vibe. Stone buildings, narrow streets, classic English countryside architecture. The Woolpack pub is still there, now called the Commercial Inn, operating as a regular pub. Emmerdale fans can go have a pint there, check out photos from the show on the walls. The church, the village square, that famous bridge, everything's still intact. And I gotta say, no matter how well they built that Harewood set, you just can't capture the authentic atmosphere of a real Yorkshire village. Walking through Esholt is literally like taking a time machine. Tourism-wise, the location is super strategic. Leeds is super close, Manchester is a couple hours away, the historic city of York is 40 minutes. Yorkshire Dales National Park, Bronte Village Haworth. You can combine an Emmerdale tour with a whole Yorkshire experience. People planning UK trips usually just stick to London. But man, the soul of England is in these rural areas. Northern England especially has its own unique culture, accent, hospitality. Film tourism has exploded in the last 20 years. People don't just want to see historic sites or museums anymore. They want to be where their favorite shows happen. That emotional connection is way more powerful than traditional tourism. New Zealand had a tourism boom because of Lord of the Rings. Iceland got discovered through Game of Thrones and Vikings. Scotland got rediscovered thanks to Outlander. Now it's little Esholt's turn, carrying a 50-year show's legacy. Helen Myers' story really fascinates me, because post-pandemic, we're seeing more and more stories like this. People are leaving stressful big city jobs to start their own businesses, live more meaningful lives. A £30,000 startup investment is actually way cheaper than buying a franchise or opening a small shop in a city center. Obviously, rural business has its challenges. Lower customer traffic, more complex logistics, seasonal fluctuations. But the advantages? Rental costs are super low, actually zero if you own the place. Minimal competition, strong community bonds. Locals tend to support small businesses. And if you tell the right story, like the Emmerdale Post Office, you can attract national or even international attention. Helen's Emmerdale merchandise idea is brilliant. Mugs, t-shirts, posters, postcards. High profit margins and tourists love buying souvenirs. Plus, she can sell online, market on Instagram. The grocery section means stable income. During winter months when tourists aren't coming, the local community keeps the business alive. This dual revenue stream model is almost essential for rural businesses. The UK has support programs for small businesses. Business rates exemptions, grants, consulting services, especially rural development funds are available. Of course, you can't forget the financial risks. Business insurance, inventory management, seasonal cash flow. You need solid planning. But if you approach it with passion and planning like Helen, a nostalgic business like this can be both financially and personally rewarding. We can't skip talking about Emmerdale itself. When it started in 1972, nobody thought this show would last over 50 years. It started with 2 episodes a week, now it's 6 episodes weekly. This is one of Britain's longest-running soap operas. Along with EastEnders and Coronation Street, it's a pillar of British TV culture. Generations of families have watched this show together. Characters came and went, so many before and after Viv Hope, but some carved out a special place in people's hearts. Viv's post office, the Dingles family, Woolpack pub, the farms. These locations and families felt like part of real life. The show's success lies in its authenticity. Yorkshire accents, rural life struggles, realistic storylines. Emmerdale never went over the top. There was drama, sure, but always within a believable framework. The show's social messaging has always been powerful too. LGBTQ plus rights, mental health, domestic violence, substance abuse. Emmerdale tackled these issues super early and raised awareness. Viv Hope was an example of that. A female business owner, independent, strong, but with vulnerable sides. There weren't many characters like that on TV in the 90s. Today, the show films at the modern Harewood set, but its soul is still in Esholt, because that real village is embedded in the show's DNA. Even when you watch new episodes, you can see traces of those old Esholt days. So there you have it, folks. Emmerdale's iconic post office is starting a new chapter. In Helen Myers' hands, this historic building will honor the past while looking toward the future. Let's see when the opening happens, if Helen's dreams come true, how Emmerdale fans react to this new concept. I think it's going to be hugely successful, because this isn't just a shop, there's a story here. And people connect with stories. If you ever visit England, especially the northern region, definitely stop by Esholt. Get a souvenir from that post office, have a pint at the Woolpack, walk those village streets. Maybe you weren't there during a filming, but you can still experience that atmosphere. And who knows, maybe like Helen, you'll get inspired and decide to write your own story. Life sometimes offers the best opportunities in the most unexpected places. What do you guys think? Should nostalgic places like this be preserved? Or is it better for them to modernize and change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We're here for cultural stories, travel recommendations, and nostalgic content like this. Catch you in the next video. Peace out.